Good evening, everyone. Our both speakers have already joined in, and I can see our attendees have already joined in. So I guess we can start now. So I would like to welcome all the attendees who have joined here to the Get It Done session in collaboration with TeCOS, the open source community of NIT Silchar, and GDSC NIT Trichy, along with NIT GDSC of NIT Trichy as well. So, giving a quick introduction about myself, I am Samir Zedi, currently serving as a core member in GDSC NIT Silchar and a pre-final year student at NIT Silchar, along with my co-host Shashank. Handing over to you, Shashank.
Yeah, thank you, Samir, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Sashank. I'm currently the GDSC lead at NIT Trichy. I'm in my pre-final year, currently pursuing civil engineering. Here with me, I have Akash Jaiswal, the speaker for today. He's from NIT Trichy also. He's in his final year. He's a GSoCer, ex-GSoCer. He's already a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador and also plays at Oracle. And also looking forward to the session. First of all, kudos to everyone who took the time off their busy schedules. I know everyone's going through their mid-sems, end-sems, and examinations. Kudos to everyone. Looking forward to have the session. Yes, I guess we can proceed forward.
Thank you, Shashank. Like I would like to hand over these two speakers, and they can start with their things and the PPT.
Yeah, sure. Vijay, can you go to next slide? Yeah, so again, from our side, like we welcome all the attendees here joining, especially doing it some time now. So I and Saurav, we both are going to share our experience in tech, open source, and how you guys can get started. And from both our side, we want you guys to take maximum advantage. You can ask your question. I hope you can ask your questions there. We'll be answering them at end. Uh, Again, we want this to be very interactive session where instead of just us talking as a speaker or some professor, we'll be having a podcast type, where we both will be sharing our experience as well as you can also ask your doubt, your questions, whatever you feel. So I hope all the audience, if they have any doubt, anything they want to ask, they will be much more free. Again, we are still in college, so please guys, one request, don't make us feel like we are a professor. So yeah. Uh, First of all, we'll go with our at least our journey in tech. So I'll start how we right now we're in fourth year, how we started in tech. So for my personal journey, I learned like Sami was one of my schoolmates during class 10. We both were interested. We both wanted to get in tech. So at that time only, I guess 2016, Geo came. So we had free internet. Again, people used to watch movies, all those stuff, but we were more inclined toward tech. So at that time itself, we learned about Android development. I'll tell you how it started. It basically we used to have that feature phone where you open any game that it used there used to be that Java thing coming. And fortunately, our school also taught us Java. So we wanted to learn Java how and to build something, especially games, since we were still class 8 or 9 student, we want to build something close to Java. That was Android development because at that time people used Java to build Android app. I guess now it is Kotlin or any React and all those stuff. So we used to develop there, at least class 9th and 10th, I still remember we used to like read like 12 or 1, which was not allowed at our home. We had boards on all those things. Learn about documentation, random YouTube videos. We used to download YouTube videos, watch them at, and so that's how I started. 10th, I would say, where a major milestone came, where at least we developed some Android basic apps, like for example, calculators, to-do list, and some other similar kind of app which you can find. One of the major milestone, I kind of, how to say it, develop app where you can visit. There is a website tutorials point to learn Python. I just made the Android app of that same website, so you can access any of the tutorials on the app. And there was one more similar website which I translated into kind of into app, and that got we published on Play Store. That got around 2,000 download or something. That was very big deal for me, at least class 10th, Akash. My app, I was just showing to my friends and my family members, "So this is my app, I have built it, and it's available on Play Store, you can download it." Fast forward to, that was like till class 10. After that, 11, 12 again, J preparation, there was no contact with that. Coming to college life, this one learning I'll tell you guys, at least first year and second year, you guys have a lot of free time and a lot of opportunities in first year. During that time, you can explore a lot of stuff. I really explored not just one particular tech stack. This question I get, so Bhaiya, what is the best, like how should I learn web development or this? So I was fortunate, I learned a lot of stuff during my first year. It was online as well. So Android development I knew, web development I learned some of the DevOps concept and other CT of ethical hacking, all those stuff. So I'll suggest again one takeaway from my point is learn a lot of different stuff, different technologies without even thinking what outcome it will be. Right now, people are very much selfish. Like they want to learn something, then they will get something out of that. For my part, it was more of a thing. I just wanted to explore something. I just wanted to know what is that. So that's one takeaway. Again, I'm sure this happens in IT. I'm sure in NXL also, you guys might have your coding club induction during end of your first year or starting of second year. So that's where my second milestone came. I participated in coding competition of my college, and I'm sure you guys also have your particular like, coding club. So one flex I always tell, I was the only one who got into all three domains of the particular coding club. Normally people don't get even either of them or at max one or some two. I was the only one who got into three. That was major milestone. And that's where that's another takeaway is how you develop as a individual, how it changes when you grow in a team or how you join company. So in club, I got to work on our TechFest project, Pragyan, as well as some RD work, which we'll be telling about later on. So for that, I'm sure most of beginners, they develop some app, they see some tutorial, like at max they'll be using it 1 or 2 months. During coding club or in coding club, you develop app website where people will be using like let's say 100, 200. In our case, it was like almost 1,000, 2,000 people. That's where we got to learn about. It's not just about coding, how you you code, then GitHub, how you push branches, how you collaborate between other team members. I think coding style, deploying on actual servers. That's where one of the major learning came to me. Third, I will say it was around October something, almost same time of year. That's where I got to know about open source and Hacktoberfest in general. So we'll be talking about Hacktoberfest. That's where I started my journey in open source. It's basically before I just knew okay, web development I knew and development I knew. How can I contribute something where actual people, not just my college people, but actual people are using it. So that was Hacktoberfest around same time of year, this same month, October, where I contributed around 14, 15 plus organization project. It was as simple as fixing some typo to as decent enough as making a chat feature or let's say improving the navigation system of the Android app or let's say something like that. Like it was simpler, but I also tried using some complex features as well. Hacktoberfest. Then I participated in Keyword. That's Kharagpur Winter of Code. That's almost same as how you have in DWork or all these winter of code are basically kind of copy of GSoC, where they implement same structure and help students get started. So another takeaway from my journey is to make sure to participate in this competition, this event, where you get to learn about tech, about open source, and it will again. That's where I got to know a lot many people from different colleges, not just my college, not just people I know in school, but people around the India who are active in open source, who are active in tech. So that's there. After that, again, most of people, I'm sure most of you joined because of open source and GSoC. So around Jan, that's where I started with GSoC. I started looking for, or I started searching for seniors in my college who got into GSoC, who were there in campus at least, or even who were like not in campus. I asked them on WhatsApp, LinkedIn, and again, this is how we approach people as well. Various suggestions they gave, even a lot of YouTube tutorials and blogs, all those stuff. I narrowed down I made Excel sheet basically where different type of orgs were there. My interest, what do I know, what can I learn, that where according to my sorted, and then again refiltered it from 30, it came down to 10, then it came down to 5, 3. After 3, it came down to 1 at last mark. So my org for using of code was C6 Tracker. That's basically, mm, how do I say? It's you get closed captions on any movie you watch. That or these will basically that, but again, it's not just not English. In Japanese, you get vertical vertical closed captions and some other kind of stuff like that. Our task was basically their old code base was written in C++. Our and their UI was, I guess, it was some old stuff. Fortunately, during 2022, they were trying to switch to Rust for their backend and Flutter for their frontend. So I knew Android development, I learned Flutter on the go, and I started contributing to a project called C6 Factor. It was a new project. That's where my journey was start for C6 Factor. Uh, that's how I got into GSoC, and 2 months. That's amazing, really amazing. I got to learn people who are like 20 plus year experience. Then again, a plus point in GSoC, you get like almost 2 lakh as stipend. That's, I was in second year back then. That's like bigger than on any of my bachelor's learning. And then you get network. Basically, all these are people. I'm sure Saurav might be in there in 2023 group. All these are people we form a group, and you can feel it's like almost one of the elite group you have. Like where all people are these who do it in tech. Lot of useful and fruitful discussion we still have even after 2 years. So that's the networking power I got. Again, the tag I got GSoC, which helped me later on. That was my journey till open source. Again, campus placement. It was. I don't think it's needed here, but I'll sum it up. Campus placement. One thing I'll tell you. It's basically my department was not CSE, not computer science. I'm from sales department. But when I did give my interview in during college placement, it was 3 rounds. One round was DSC. Second, it was the first moment. The manager who was sitting into, she opened my resume. The first thing she saw was good for food. The whole interview point got shifted to HR or system level, not even no DSC. So that's advantage you get from using having a tag at GSoC. I still say this to my juniors, my backmate, even you guys also. The main advantage of GSoC is again, or any open source is the advantage you get or the tag you get. It's same as any tag you get, let's say MIT or IIT, something like that. So you don't have to prove yourself you are good enough. The tag itself prove you are good enough, you have worked on something which actually people have used. Yeah, that's my journey. I hope 2 3 points I gave, which will be helpful for you. And again, later down this session, we will be telling more how you get things started in open source. Over to you, sir. You can start your session.
Am I audible?
Yes, Bhaiya, you are.
Is it lagging? Is my voice lagging? Like, is it breaking up or something?
No, no, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Oh, okay, nice. So I mean, I had a very modest start in tech. So like I was a 10-year-old kid playing Counter Strike Condition Zero, and so there was this little like mission that you need to do, and I couldn't understand what I had to do in that, and so instead of trying to find a way to solve it using the internet, I just went around in game files and I looked around for a file that had the those conditions, and I modified them, and basically removed the condition, and I went away, like completed the game. Uh, so back then I was very entranced with the thing, like because I had modified a bit of the code, uh, and like back then these conditions used to be stored in txt files, and so because I had modified the code and the software had behaved like I wanted it to, it kind of created a, like it sparked a motivation in me. Like I wanted to learn this thing called software engineering. Fast forward to my first year, like before I was joining, like there was this time period between starting of the college and like after JE because of COVID, and so during that time I tried out a lot of dual booting, and I was basically exploring the world of software engineering that I had wanted to do back when I was a kid. Uh, and I was trying dual booting. I tried competitive programming, and I also tried a bit about web development. So tried everything that I thought was like interesting to me, and so that is how my first year went. Like the first half of the year was like me trying out competitive programming, doing a bit of CP on CodeChef. Back then, I got a 3 star on the old rating system, and then I found out about the like amazing field of web development, and I tried to go into that. I learned front end, the various React libraries, and uh, then moved on to Vue.js, Svelte.js, etc. So it was very recent, but yeah. Anyway, uh, and in second year, I tried to look into backend. So I had done enough of front end, and then I moved on to backend, and I learned about Node.js and how even a bit of Python. Because like back then I was kind of trying out the waters. I didn't have the guidance, like of where I should begin. I was just trying out everything till I just get something that vibed with me. Uh, so back then it was like I tried my best into those areas that concern backend development, and then in fourth sem I like got interested in cloud, and so in my second year I became a member of GDSC NIT Silchar, and it was in web domain. And during that time I got to hone my skills about web development and uh, like full stack development in general. And then in the fourth semester I tried a lot of cloud and DevOps. And so later in the fifth semester, uh, is my voice breaking?
It was slightly breaking. I hope now it's fine.
uh, no, fine, fine.
Smooth, Saurav. You can.
So half of you are saying that it is not, and some of you are saying it is. Is it because of the difference in the distance?
There might be issue from their own side, I
But
guess.
I'll try to rejoin or something. I'll try to rejoin.
No, Saurav, I guess it's fine. It's fine from my
Yeah,
side, I
it's all right.
guess.
It's fine. It's fine. You continue.
Can someone confirm in the chat if I'm audible, please? Okay, fine.
Yes, sir. It's smooth. You can
So
continue.
yeah, I became a cloud moderator in my fifth semester, and so fifth semester was a bit of a like less growth in terms of development because I had to prepare for my interns, and ACADS was a lot difficult compared to previous. So fifth semester was slow, and in sixth semester, I had always like in ever since I started my college, I had heard about this thing called GSoC. There was this Google Summer of Code thing that was really sort of benchmark of where you lie as a developer and how well you are growing. It isn't an absolute sort of uh, is someone speaking right now? No, fine. uh, so yeah, I had heard about this thing called GSoC, and I tried like I always looked up to it. It was like, so there's this uh, group of people, GSoCers basically, who like have the enough skills to like contribute to real open source projects, like real world open source projects. And it was basically uh, the confidence that these guys had, that they could like contribute code to something that was open. And so basically in open source your code is very open to others, right? It is open to criticism and it is open to uh, suggestions. So these guys had the confidence to do that, and it was very motivating for me. And when I was in first year, I had the dream to become an open source developer as well as do GSoC. So yeah, I tried to follow through my passion and that goal in my sixth semester. I was very interested in C development because from my Linux distro hopping time, I was very interested in the kernel and Linux development in general. So I looked into C a lot, and that is how I got uh, into like learning more about C, its build systems, and the various system calls that you can do with C, and the various caveats of it, and so on and so forth. Uh, and that is how I also selected my organization as well as a project that I wanted to do. It was a full C project, and uh, like that C project introduced me to a lot of new concepts, and also at the same time a lot of concepts that I already knew. It honed my skills in them, and it introduced me to a new scale of things. So in open source, a lot of people can view your code potentially. So you need to consider all of them, or at least most of them. So there are discussions around any new features that are going to be added. You need to be able to hold your ground on any new feature that you want to add. You have to justify why you're adding it. You have to please other parties that are going to be dependent on your feature, and so on. uh, that is how my uh, third year went. And in fourth year, yeah, is like I completed GSoC, and right now I'm currently like I'm continuing my open source contributions to uh, PG Exporter, where I did my GSoC. So yeah, that was it. That was my journey.
So yeah, can you go to next slide, please? Vijay? So yeah, both of us explained about our journey. Now we'll be focusing more on key points of this session particularly. So open source. I'll tell you about open source mostly. How many of you are like, can I see? How many of you are still in first year or second year? Like, can I get a count if possible? I mean, you can say first year, second year, something like that. Is it possible for me to see? Yeah, okay, I'll just take a see. First year, second year. Mm, yeah, that's perfect. It's perfect audience, what we expect. So most of you are in first year, second year. That's great. Yeah, second year. Okay. Uh, I'll tell you what exactly open source. I'm sure you might have you can search Google, but I'll tell you on perspective from as a student, as a BTech student from agriculture. Again, see, when you learn anything, any tech stack, you will search for tutorials, you learn documentation and this stuff. Then you can make some tutorials, some project based on it, which you personally you will be working on. Let's say two or three of your group, friend group will be working on. Again, then after that, when you join any club, coding club as such, maybe like five, six of you will be working on a project. So that's that. Uh, Again, when you join a company, because both of us have done intern in companies where we have seen distributed teams, where actually team working on particular feature, not a product, particular feature. Let's say 10, 15 people on a particular feature. Open source, I'll say this like the whole hierarchy is there from your personal project to a club project to a company project. The whole hierarchy of open source goes beyond that. It's like the fourth step. Open source is not a particular team or particular set of people who will be working on a project. It will be any project. There will be open contributors. For example, people like you, me, anyone else will be contributing that. And the whole methodology is as such. We want people, beginners, to get started. People from who you might have never met to work on feature, to develop a feature, to where people collaborate. And again, the collaboration is not bound in a particular set of company, or you have to get paid, or you have to be in a particular company where anyone can contribute to anything. That's this whole definition. I want to stress on this because again, first year, second year, you guys have like really 1 or 2 years to get it started. Make sure you get the definition of open source right. I've seen people just getting into money, getting into GSoC, saying it is open source. That's like literally tip of iceberg, like 10% of whole thing. Open source basically means where you contribute to projects which are used by people all around the world, where people around the world can contribute to it or and are contributing. For example, VLC, Linux kernel, and let's say Flutter. I'm sure many of you might know Dart language is open source. Python language is open source, but people actually use it. A lot of things, even another system is technically open source, where many people can are contributing. So that's the whole gift of open source. That's the definition. Why coming to why I'll say again, lot of benefits. It's give a credentials, for example, and you open any of our GitHub account, any of people are active, it will be good. A lot of greens will be there. You have contributed various projects. You can show as a proof. For example, I'll frame it in that way. Right now, I'm sure first year, second you guys, whenever you go to third year project, you have to send your resume to a preferred companies and so on for your premium placement. Open source as such, that whole your GitHub profile is your resume. It will speak for itself. You just send your GitHub profile. People will be asking for interview, like companies will be asking for interview. Or even from your GitHub profile, people will be reaching out, hey, I'm working on this particular stuff. Can are you willing to contribute to it, or are you willing to join it? Something like that. That's the advantage I'm talking about. Where people right now, I'm sure many people will, at least your seniors will be kind of like struggling with interns or placement. This opens a new altogether new opening for you to get into tech, where that whole profile itself speaks for itself. You don't have to even apply for anywhere. You don't have to like, make a resume, fine tune all those stuff. That whole profile itself speaks. You are contributing this tech stack, that company, that project, and where you will also interact with people who are much more experienced than you. For example, in fourth year, so like all of us have, I guess we both have been in fourth year. At max, except for companies, if it was not open source, we could have just limited to just college projects. Since we worked in open source, where our mentors or our colleagues, I would say, were people who were like 15 years, 20 years down the line, their experience, they work on like proper tech. For example, some of the people, at least in my domain, they work on actual 5G and other stuff. So these people you get mentored, and they are very beginner friendly. They are very open. They want people like us to learn about tech. So that's like real life, I would say, real life development experience you get. That's one of why. One thing we usually don't stress, but this is what the most hype is about. Recently, at least last 6, 7 months, or let's say 1 year, there has been a lot of how about open source, about remote job, about research, about the money part especially. Trust me, I'll say the money part is definitely very good. But if you just compare GSoC, let's say $3,000 or something like that, that again, it's the provide. But I've seen people, some of my friends who are part of my GSoC, they're working companies, not as a GSoC mentee, but as like remote from remote intern, remote. jobs which are getting paid like times of money which we get in India. So money part is definitely good. Ethically, I don't feel like it should be like primary motivation, but this is a good motivation. And again, whatever the tutorial, whatever the hype is about, it's just about GSoC. You get it on. Trust me, that's literally peanuts when compared with a full-time job in remote companies. So yeah, how, where, when, three question I'll answer all together itself. Again, this is why the whole session is about. How, at least for people who are in second or first year, please, one request, get into Hacktoberfest, where it is a lot more being friendly. You can contribute a lot of more projects. Today is 17th October. You still have 13 days. That's good enough for making four contributions. And once again, there will be a lot of learning involved. You have to learn about Git. I'll say one particular tech stack, bare minimum. Let's say web development application, minimum one, or if more, it will be beneficial. Git, how to use Git like command line, and what are branches, what are pull requests, what is so. It's like it takes a few time, but again, this is the workflow. Then again, you can search on videos. I'm sure pretty much a lot of resources will be there regarding that. Hacktoberfest, it's just me. That's where uh, beginning can started. At least I started with Hacktoberfest. Soon there will be again. We will be telling most colleges host their own winter of food during December. My college hosts and Trichy hosts villages. KWOK is there, and NIT Patna hosts, and Silchar. I guess NIT Guwahati hosts some more events. So you are free to can apply for that. And after Jan Feb, there will be GSoC. So again, whole work hierarchy. Oktoberfest is beginner friendly, which the current audience, like most of you in first year and second year, get with that. Again, winter of code, you will get a little more experience, a bit there the complexity will be a bit more. And then GSoC. I've seen people directly get into GSoC. But yeah, I want to apply for GSoC. What are open source contributions do you done? Have you done anything? This is the platform you have right now. You have the opportunity where you can get started from something smaller, improvise on that, get bigger, and grow on that, and actually go for GSoC. And after GSoC again, you can go for actually like remote and job. How, when, where? I guess I answered. I have to again. Hacktoberfest will be explaining in more detail, so we'll be explaining more. So that's about open source. That's how you can get started. That's what it is. And yeah, over to Saurav. I guess you can explain about Hacktoberfest. Is my voice not clear?
Just a bit, Akash, just a second.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I'll rejoin by the
It was
time we can proceed. Yeah,
it was audible.
yeah. If we can proceed, I'll try to rejoin by the time. Like my part is that is what for Hacktoberfest, I guess Saurav can take over from it.
All right.
Am I audible?
He's facing
There
a
have been network
internet issue.
issues, I
He
think,
will be
with
joining
this
in a bit of
platform
moment.
specifically.
All right, he's back.
The slides is stuck at open source.
Is it visible now?
Samit, the slides stuck at open source.
We have changed the
Or
slide of for
is it
Hacktoberfest.
changed or is it?
Is it changed to Hacktoberfest? Is it visible to you?
Yes, Hacktoberfest slide is there. I guess I can.
Saurav, can you see the Hacktoberfest slide?
So Hacktoberfest is an open source program that happens during the whole of October. It starts from the start of October. It ends at the right at the end of the October month. And so what it is basically an open source program that is aimed at introducing beginners to open source. Out of the popular open source programs like GSoC and Hacktoberfest, I would say Hacktoberfest is the most beginner friendly open source program out there. It is basically uh, uh, it is a basically very beginner friendly program in which there are repositories over GitHub, and these have a special tag that mentions that this is a Hacktoberfest repository. And so what you can do is basically create a pull request. If you don't know pull request, can you write it in the chat? Do you know what is a pull request? If you don't know, you can write it, like, so I can explain it. Okay. So fine. I'll explain. So basically, a pull request is a request for like from you to the maintainer of the code base, where you basically make a change to the code base, and then you say that I want this change to be reflected in the actual code base. Because so you are making a change in your local version of the code base, and then you tell the maintainer that these are the changes that I made, and this would be beneficial in some way, like you mentioned these things. And if the maintainer is interested, they will basically pull your changes into the main code base. That is called a pull request. Now this is something that I'm talking about like in a very superficial manner. Pull requests are something specific to Git and GitHub also. So if you want, you can look into that. Git is a very important tool when you are starting with open source, because Git is something that manages, like, it's a version control system, and it basically allows you to manage versions of your code. And so that is how a lot of people can uh, work together on the same code base without basically conflicting with each other. Because like if you're conflicting, like basically if I remove a line and someone changes that line in their own repository, like in their own versions of like local code, this will create a conflict, right? I removed that line and somebody has changed it. So stuff like these are very easy to manage with Git. And more features similar to that, you can look into Git in detail. So basically, when you make a pull request, you are basically telling you are basically requesting the maintainer of the code base to pull your changes into it. Uh, so in Hacktoberfest, you can go around looking for repositories with the Hacktoberfest tag, and you can make pull requests to these repositories. This pull request can be anything. So in open source, the very insignificant change according to you, like you might think that changing something, like fixing something like a typo, it will be insignificant. But the thing is, in open source, every little contribution is very important. Even a typo like may help someone, because fixing a typo may help someone, because it can be that someone may have a problem reading that because of the typo or something like that similar to it. So any and every contributions in open source are valued a lot. Of course, some are valued more than others, but nonetheless, all of them are valued. Open source is basically working on free contributions, right? So it's very important. Uh, in Hacktoberfest, these repositories that enable Hacktoberfest tag also know that they will be dealing with beginners, like very beginners to like very like new beginners. So they know what to expect, and so you will not have the pressure of like actually making a like very impactful change or something like that. You can try out these repositories, make changes. You can get your feet wet in that repository, and do minor changes here and there. and you can make a pull request for each of them. So that is how you get started with Hacktoberfest. You are not like expected to make a very impactful change. You can start off small, and that is expected from you as well. Like you will be very like you will be looking for guidance. That is what is expected of you. They will help you. The maintainers of Hacktoberfest repos know that you will be a person who is looking to contribute, but at the same time you might not have the knowledge required for it, so they will help you gain that knowledge. How does it help them? Basically, this will help them gain new contributors. You might become a contributor later on, because like they helped you, basically they're training you to become a contributor, like who is capable of making those impactful changes. And that is how you get started with Hacktoberfest, and that is how it encourages you to get started in open source. Yeah, it's still going on, by the way. It's October right now, right? So it's going on.
Okay. Yeah, Abhijit, can you include next week? So that was a wonderful like explanation and how people can start an Hacktoberfest. I'll be explaining about Google Summer of Code. Again, Hacktoberfest is going on today, 17. You have 13 days to make a full request. Google Summer of Code, the timeline is around March. The program opens at March, but people start contributing from Jan or Feb, like serious contributions start from Jan. Again, I'm pretty sure most of you have joined session because of Google Software, and most of you guys would have like basic idea understanding of what it is. It's a open source program from Google to help beginners like you and me to get started in open source, where they contribute to various international, various influential, various like impactful organizations around the world. And the process is very standard. It has been running since I mean like 10 or 15 years. I'm not sure, but like it didn't include it. And various organizations joined that program. Various students also joined the program, and you get very good experience learning tech. How again, both technical side, also how to contribute with your fellow colleagues, with your people who are working along with you, with your manager, with your mentor, something like that. Also, you get experience as well as you get GSoC tag. That's very much how to say. The tag separates a lot of like when you apply when you have your Google Summer of Code in your resume, that like that just still gets a very good impression. Okay, this fellow is very good in tech. He has done something. He has done proved something, and which he has made a project. He has to contribute something where people are actually using. So you're not just a college beginner or something like that. Then you have actually done something where how products are actually accepted, how products accepted, where people are using it. That tags helps a lot. That helps again give you more visibility or let's say more networking or more leverage when you apply to any other company anywhere. Fourth again, you get a very handsome stipend of $3,000 or $15,000. Sorry, 3,000 and $1,500, which in Indian rupees come around like 2.2 lakhs or 1.3 lakhs something, respectively. And that's again, if you are doing that in your second year, third year, in fourth year, it's very good money, considering it's like almost 2 or 3 months. And I'll tell you, it's like in my second year, I got that money. That was more than what I got in my third year as an intern in Oracle. So technically, second year, I was earning more than I was earning in third year. So that's there. Again, some of the stats are there, like 19,000 contributors, various countries, mentors, organizations. The whole program has contributed a lot to open source community, where people actually, instead of experienced people, even beginner like us, actually look out for open source and how they can make their career, how they can contribute to it. Next slide, please. Yeah, so that's like more of overview of the Google Summer of Code. I'm sure from GDSC side, from TeCOS side, we'll have more session when GSoC approach. But this side is basically regarding overall overall overview application of Google Summer Code. So first of all, you have to choose the organization where you want to contribute, and then you have to make a proposal. So that whole step, although I'm telling you, it is the hardest part. Actually, working on the project that's like much more easier than actually choosing project and actually making a proposal for that. People who are very serious, who are actually I want to get into, they start by Jan or Feb. What is their comfort zone? That means what do you know and what you can learn. There are like always things. There will be always things which you cannot learn. And again, any of the project, whatever HTML, CSS, or let's say Java, you know, you will learn in college or you will learn from tutorial. That's way different how it is used in production. So let's say I know Java, but there is some org in Java. That doesn't mean I can contribute easily. You have to learn a lot more things on that. But again, the whole process design a way that it onboards new people easily. So yeah, that is that. Then you start looking out for projects which are again closer to your domain. For example, let's say you know Android development, so you can look up for projects which are for Android or which are related to, let's say, Android Studio, Java, Flutter, something like that. So what is your comfort zone? What you can learn during 2 3 months, which are like closer to your domain, not completely out. For example, if you even if you have not learned, if you don't know C++, there is no point on looking for R which are dealing with Linux kernel, which are entirely written in C and not just like C. It's like proper hardcore C. So again, look at something which you're familiar with, or you know, or you're familiar with, or you can learn. There won't be any project which you will be like completely on. So that is pretty much sure. And again, prioritize from Excel sheet. Well, I remember Jan Feb, I had like 30, 40 organizations. Anything I saw familiar, for example, Android or web or C++ or Java, I just put on my sheet. Then you filter out, you try to contribute. There'll be like tutorials, blogs that are on their website itself. The advantage of Google Summer Code is like it is so famous, it is so established. Like organization, they put dedicated people from their project, from their organization to help people get started. So again, every year people get selected. So that's how they start. They look for business friendly project, blog, some tutorials. Then from 30, I filter out to like 20, 25, from there to 15, from there to 10 by March. So March will be your proposal timing where you have to submit your proposal. Proposal is basically a written doc, a very technical documentation of around again 15 to 20 pages on average, where you tell in detail what you will be working on, what feature you will be doing, breakup week wise or milestone wise, how you'll be doing it, any suggestions about your background. That's like the hardest part. Choosing org is again, I'll rate it as second hardest. Writing proposal, I'll still say is like first highest in that. You have to be very technical in that. It's like one of the most technical documents any of you that have written in your college life. It's like kind to level where you explain all the feature in written form except writing code. For example, you have to say, okay, like for example, I implemented a notification Flutter. I actually had to give APIs which I'll be calling, something like that. So whole breakup you have to write how you'll be doing or what will be contributing that. That's the proposal part. You have to submit there. Again, you get a limit of I guess 3 proposals. It can be multiple different orgs or same orgs. And once you apply for that, again, then depends on number of people apply. Again, it's not always how good you have written. It depends on how many people have applied for or that defines. April first month you get the result. If you get selected again, then that's where the part starts. You actually spend your summer 2 or 3 months working on the project. That's how it is. Uh, that's again. I'm pretty sure from TeCOS side, from GDSC side, we'll be having more session when GSoC approaches. But that's a more of a like overview of how the whole Google Summer Code program runs. So over to you, Saurav. If you have any more points to add on that.
So yeah, let's get started with organizations in GSoC. So there are open source organizations out there in GSoC, or even like in open source, and so basically what they want is contributors to their projects. All of the projects are open source, and they want contributors for it, and they want contributors who have the skill to contribute to it. In GSoC, they require you to have some level of skill to uh, get like at least they want to know that you can contribute to this given some bit of training. So yeah, there are organizations out there, they want contributors to their projects, and they come like they apply in GSoC, and basically they approach Google that I want to participate in GSoC and I want to accept contributors. So contributors can be you guys, basically that is so they there is a phase where their applications start, and they put up their ideas, their projects and the various things they want done in that. Some of the organizations allow you to do your own come up with your own ideas, but usually a lot of orgs have specific things they want in their projects, and so basically they put up a list of all of them. This can be visible on the GSoC website, under a you can select a particular organization and you can view their idea lists. Fine. And that is idea list is a list of all of the ideas or projects that they want help in. So now you can go through these. There are a lot of organizations. First of all, analyze what your comfort zone is. Basically, what topics you are comfortable with and what topics are you interested in, and how far are you willing to go into them. Because let's say you are interested in video and audio development, and there is something like VLC out there. VLC is very advanced, so I mean, you have to decide whether you want to go that far into audio and video development as they require, or are you like going to settle for less. Because there are a lot of organizations and a lot of projects, you will find something that suits you as well. So go around these project ideas and go around listing whatever you like and whatever you want to contribute to, and what is slightly out of your comfort zone. So not too much out of it. It has to be outside your comfort zone, because that is how you're going to learn, but not too much out of it, because you need to be able to learn instead of being overwhelmed all the time, right? So shortlist your project ideas based on that, and then basically find out whatever you are missing in the skill set. So let's say there is a chat app and you don't know how to make TCP connections or something like that. So then try to learn how to do that. Internet is free most of the time. Well, it's freely available, not free as in the cost. It's freely available, and you can access whatever you want and gain whatever knowledge you want out there. It's knowledge on internet is you can get it without buying any courses or something like that, just a Google search away. So you can find whatever you want on the internet, learn the skill set required, at least most of it, and then try to look into the projects. So a lot of the projects have are hosted on a uh, online hosted on an online repository like GitHub, like for example GitHub, GitLab and Bitbucket, etc. So these websites host have the project hosted, and each of these projects have something called issues, right? There is this tab called issues and there is this tab called pull request. I already mentioned what pull requests are. So now we come to issues. Issues are basically any sort of issue you have with a project. If you are a user of a project, let's say I am facing some problem in a particular app that is open source. I report that issue, I report that bug in that app's repository, like online repository. I report it in the issues of that project. Also issues can be other things, like if you want something from them. So like if you want a particular feature which you feel will be beneficial to others as well. uh, Now issues can be made by anyone. Any user of your app can make an issue for your app or anything like that. But so contribute, like when you make an issue, a contributor will try to work on it. So like out of these issues there will be some that are like big good for beginners, right? Not all issues are like very difficult to fix or something like that. Some issues will be very good for people starting out with that repository. Those are called good first issues. There is a tag that a lot of repositories usually have, called good first issues, and you can segregate or like filter according to that tag in GitHub or even the other sites, and you can go around looking into them. So how do you contribute to a particular project? You basically go into a project, like go into the issue, you check the replies in that, and you first find out if there is someone who is already working on it. There is a large quite a big chance that someone is already working on it. But if on the off chance that someone isn't, like it has not been taken by anybody, you can basically type a reply in it saying, hey, like I want to work on this issue, something like that. And a maintainer will give you a green signal after that, like something like yeah, sure, it's open to be open to contributing or something like that. And then you can get started with your work. You can basically find out on the internet what you want. The maintainers of the code base can also guide you, but the thing is, in GSoC or even preparation for GSoC or open source in general, you are expected to do your research before asking. So like you should ask them, but it's like not like you have to put effort in it. So you have to first search as much as you can about the topic. If at all you cannot get anything or you are not able to understand, you can ask them for guidance. You can ask them in the issue itself, or if they have their personal like contact points like email id or phone number. Usually phone number is not present, but if email id is there, or any sort of organizational uh, communication channel. So a lot of organizations have Slack or Discord servers. Uh, a lot a lot of those organizations also have something called IRC channels. So look into IRC if you want. IRC is a very good thing, and it is very important in GSoC as well. So yeah, I'll type it out. So IRC is very important as well. So these communication channels are basically, or even mailing lists as well. So these are where the contributors and maybe users as well of the repositories or the projects are available. Like they are available to like you can approach them for guidance, or you can ask anyone about a particular issue you have, or how to do this, how to do that. They will help you out, because so open source is based on voluntary work, right? So most of the people there are there because they like that stuff. They are contributing to it because they want to contribute. Because of any reason they want to contribute to it. It is voluntary. So uh, in that case, a lot of most of the contributors are very welcoming for beginners. But again, as I said, you need to prove, or like you need to like basically do your research first before asking. They will know if you have done your research or not. Like it's pretty easy to find out. But anyway, so you ask them for guidance, and then you can work on that and try to contribute. Believe me, most of the organizations want contributors to join them, so they will try to help you out. But again, they want to help you out only if you like, if you have potential as a contributor. It's not just a one off thing. It's like they want to help people who do their research before, have a very basic minimum skill set. So like they can work on that further and increase the skill set to be a proper contributor. And they want people who can contribute to this project, because like I said, every contribution is valued. In GSoC, you can select organizations like so as a future contributor or aspiring contributor, you might be thinking like you might be seeing the vast list of organizations, like probably 200 to 300 organizations, and you might be thinking which one should I pick. So like I said, list out your comfort zone, like where you are comfortable, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and what you want to do, and go out of your comfort zone a bit. Go into organizations, look for the projects, and try to contribute to good first issues. Out of these, you will find projects or like communities or organizations that you vibe to, like you will have a sort of connection to, or you it will be something that you care about, and then you can shortlist out of that, and you can work on that more. And so in GSoC, you can put three proposals. It can be three different projects, or like basically you have to put three proposals for like in total. It can be different organizations, or like within the same organization as well, or some like, don't worry about where you can do it. It's just three in total. You can put three proposals for the same project as well. It like doesn't matter, but nobody does that. So uh yeah, that is how you select your organization. As of now, the GSoC list isn't out, like GSoC organization list isn't out. I don't think even the applications are out yet for organizations to apply. So as of now, it's too early, but there is a site that I will be listing that shows what organization came in what year. So it is the best thing like possible to do right now, to like basically analyze what organizations came in the last 4 years, and so they have a very high chance of coming again this year as well. So, and you can find out the project ideas that they had. They will probably like, so if there is an organization, if there is an idea or like a project that GSoC contributor has worked on, there will be something that comes up again after that, like, so their work is finished, but that can create some other work as well, because again, progress is like, it never stops. So there might be some other continuation of that that might be available for grabs, and you can go and look at that. So yeah, that was all about how you should try and select organizations. uh, when GSoC releases the list, you can try this like method again, but now you know, like when the list is out, you will know what exactly are the organizations that are coming. So you can be like, you can expand your like the short list a bit more. Vijay, next slide please. Or is it frozen on my screen?
Is it visible? We have changed the slide.
Yeah, that was a wonderful discussion on how we can get started in open source. Some tips from our side, from both sides. One thing I told is to start early. The program opens on March. Application opens on March and it stays around for 1 month. But people who are serious or people who want to contribute and actually get into GSoC and actually learn more, because they start, the ideal timeline should be Jan mid. Jan mid, you start organization selection. Feb till Feb end, you finalize organization and start contributing. Again, you don't always have to contribute to organization which you're applying. You can always apply to open source, any other open source organization. That's the whole motive of open source. So don't just think about open source, but start contributing. but also try to prioritize like 2 3 organizations which you feel you will be applying. Second thing in which many people miss, it's not a college project, not a college assignment where you do something, you just submit it, will give you marks. No, that's not how open source is. It is more of a, you are contributing there, and again, not just code. You're contributing as a person, as giving your time, giving your effort, giving your again your thought process. So participate in community, engage in discussion, help other people get on board, take help from mentors, see what other contributions they are doing, see what other projects they're doing. Again, look out for that. You can give a suggestion. Do not over participate also. Do not tag everyone. Do not tag the mentor unnecessarily. But yeah, do participate in an fruitful conversation. Third is again stay positive in person. I'll frame it as GSoC is not the end goal of that whole period. It is the goal is to get you, get people like you, started in open source. How you contribute, how you talk to people, how you get onboarded on different projects, how you start contributing, how you develop future. That's the main the aim of GSoC. Even if you don't get, I've seen people. One of my friends in my org, he didn't get GSoC, but he him from their side they contacted him and asked him to join us full time. So, trust me, do not keep GSoC as goal. It's not an exam. There is a reason it's not called hackathon or let's say some other exam or something like that. It's an event. It's a program where you learn, always learn something if your mindset is right. Take GSoC as byproduct, but start contributing. Look out for something that interests you, something that where you contribute, where you don't feel even if you feel like it's a mundane work. Do not contribute that project. Wherever you feel like your interest lies, or where you just for fun you can contribute, you should contribute that project. So that's that. And again, challenging, positive, or like people say they're not feeling motivated for GSoC. It's because you're taking GSoC as a end goal. That's not end goal. That's even I'd say like not even midpoint. It's like the starting of your open source journey. So that's considered as a byproduct. If you get into GSoC, consider it a byproduct. The amount of learning you get, that is the actual thing you should look out for. So that's that from my side. Yeah, Saurav has shared one website that's very informative with it, where the official website is like slightly clingy. It's like you don't see a lot of stats. This website is again this itself has open source website where I have contributed as well, where you can check out the stats of various organizations. So yeah, over to you, Saurav, if you want to say anything on that. Mm, is there any technical problem?
Yeah, he's joining.
Yeah, tips for acing. Uh, to be honest, like all of the points are listed here. Uh, Another thing is like you should have motivation behind something you do. So like there has to be something that acts as a constant source of motivation. Like why do you want to do this or something like that. Because GSoC is a very like intensive uh, like program. Like both the preparation and the duration of GSoC is a bit intense. It might be that you lose your confidence a lot in middle, or like you might have a lot of worry, but it's like just try to like like you just visualize a motivation that you want to follow and try your best, like do your own part as much as you can and just leave the rest to luck. uh that's it. Like if you do your part as much as you can, then there will be no regrets in that. That's it from my side.
All right, so Hello everyone. I'm Krish Kishore. I'm a sophomore from NIT Trichy, another open source enthusiast like most of us present here. And I'm a technical coordinator at the Technical Council in NIT Trichy. And before moving on, I'd like to thank Akash and Saurav. You guys did a wonderful job giving us insights into this whole open source funda, right? And I hope my voice is clear to everyone. Right, so moving on, we already know like the ABCs of open source now, and the whole open source culture, how it revolves around GSoC and Hacktoberfest and everything, right? Another one such open source initiative is Delta Winter of Code, right? This is a open source initiative taken up by Delta, the programming club of NIT and the Technical Council, and it more or less follows the pattern of Hacktoberfest. What we strive to do here is make another open source initiative, specially curated for people who want to start out with open source. Try out different things, and I believe most of the audience present here in this meet are first and second years, right? So it's me and you who this is beneficial for. Uh, if you move to the next slide, you get to know that the how this works is more or less like how Akash and Saurav explained how GSoC or Hacktoberfest works. In the next slide, if you move, we would see that there are just technically three parts of any such initiative taken up, right? There are organizations that are companies, mostly not for profit, who offer us open source projects and problem statements so that we could, contribute to them and learn with them. And these organizations also offer you mentors, right? So with each problem statement you have, with each project you're working on, there comes a maintainer of the repository who would act as your mentor, right? So you're working on a project, you have pull requests and everything, as Aurav mentioned. You go to it, and each repository has its own maintainer. So now this maintainer acts as a mentor to each and every one of you, right? And this person is an industry grade professional who is going to be working with you. So you get to learn a lot from them itself, right? And the third part, of course, the most essential part of any open source initiative is us, me and you, who will be actively contributing to these projects throughout the span of the initiative. Right. Uh, Now, I get it. Like we have major projects like Hacktoberfest and GSA coming around, but the chronology of things has tied us up in a knot here, right? With almost half of October over and summer kind of far away. Delta Winter of Code sits right in the middle of it. If you move on to the next slide, we would get to know about the timeline of how Delta Winter of Code is going to work, right? Of course, you're going to be working with industry professionals. You get to develop your skills. You get to be involved in a community of like-minded people who also want to learn these collaborative tools. And of course, you get to at the end of it all, you get a lot of goodies, cash prizes, and a whole tag, as Akash mentioned. The tag at the end of the day is going to be the most beneficial thing in all for you. you know Moving on, talking about the timeline of Delta Winter of Code is it sits very conveniently right in the middle of Hacktoberfest and GSoC, right? So as I see it, it can be a perfect stepping stone or like a segue into GSoC for you. It gives you the essence as to what you're going to get into GSoC. Most of us here is going to be our first time in participating or taking part in GSoC, or like some of us have got a taste of it at Hacktoberfest, right? Uh, so at DVOC again, the timeline, the organization verification would end by December itself. So that's when like you can get familiarized with the kind of projects that would be offered to you. You can start exploring your options. And January and February, right before the GSoC coding period starts, is when the DVOC coding period would be going on. So this again, it is like a mini GSoC before your main GSoC, right? Right. With again offering you a lot of perks when you work on these projects, and you get like the real experience and the essence of how these open source contributions work. So yeah, we for any more details, you can always visit our website, and it is open to all college students. And at the end of the day, It is going to help me and you contributing to these open source projects. We are the ones who are gonna benefit from working with these industry projects. And yeah, I'm really excited to seeing all of you actively participate with me in Delta Winter of Code. Thank you very much. Over to you, Samir.
Thank you, Krish, for giving us insights about Delta Winter of Code. And I guess it's a wrap up now. We have a Q&A session as well. Okay, we have a Q&A session as well. You people can ask your doubts in the question and answer panel. You people can see right in the right side. So you can ask your questions and doubt related to open source or GSoC to the speakers. So yeah, you can start questioning. If you guys have any doubt regarding GSoC, Hacktoberfest, or anything related which was not somehow addressed in the speaker session, then you can put up in this chat box and they will try their best to address those doubts.
Okay, Sakti has asked, how should the proposal be for the Google Summer of Code? Shall I answer, Saurav, or do you want to take it?
Akash, can you go forward with the questions? I guess Saurav is
Oh,
unable to.
sure, sure. So, Sakti, I mean, for Google Summer of Code, most of organizations, they have a predefined template. Again, I told before, they have predefined template where basic headings they will be telling you. Generally, the headings are like summary of the project, then breakup of the project in milestone or week. For example, let's say 12 weeks, you have to tell which feature or which thing you will be doing during which week. So that's breakup. About your background, what tech stack you will be using. Generally, like these are 4 or 5 titles you have to add, and then some abstract. Some you might have to. They might give you a like some of the organizations they give a predetermined task. For example, you have to complete a small task to actually apply for proposal. So that detail. I mean, to be honest, I'll share one link on chat. Just like basically archive of all the proposal. You can check it out. It is as simple as writing a document which you write for your college and or something like that. And depending on project, it can be as technical as writing a research paper. For example, some of the kernel, Linux kernel projects are really in deep in depth. But generally, uh, rule of thumb is they give a predefined template. You have to fill that basically with your data. For example, milestone you have to say which feature can be implemented on which date, then your tech stack, what feature you'll be implementing, about your background. If that is your fill, and also after writing proposal, please get it verified from 1 or 2 mentors from the or some of the your seniors. I'm sure your college will have some seniors whom you can approach. They will give you suggestion, like reiterate over that for 2 3 times. That's how it should be the proposal be. Template they give, you have to fill up your basic detail, improvise on that, and again, then you can come up. That's how it is. Shall I proceed to next question?
Yes, I guess the next question is
Address the
quite
second
interesting.
question.
I guess it would be better if you
Yeah.
both answer the same questions one by one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
sure. So regarding what I should have done differently, I would definitely say that I would ask my past self to like address, like ask or approach the mentor for guidance a bit quicker, because like I was kind of delaying it as much as I could. But then like that is the best like the thing that like my interaction first interaction with my mentor actually changed a lot of things that I was doing and like my approach as well. So like yeah, you should do your basic research and then ask your mentor for guidance as soon as you can.
Same for me. Again, approaching mental. That's again. You think he's some very high five guy? No, it's not. His whole job is to make sure you get onboarded, you do project. So again, approaching a mentor, being communicative with them. Second thing I'll say, at least journey part. I did my second year, but first year itself, I thought I should have tried. So there will be people who are more focused on getting selected. Even I was one of them initially. So don't take target as getting selected. Take target as getting to know open source. So I should have again. I should one advice I would do it start early. Make sure you apply. Make sure you write the proposal and submit it. It doesn't matter even if it is just like 5 pages, 6 pages. Trust me, I've seen people getting selected who are like whose proposal were not up to mark or like that. I am telling you the toughest part is writing proposal, and second toughest part is actually choosing organization. Once you clear that, that's where most people fail. Once you clear that, getting selected is easy. Even if you make one proposal, or trust me, even if you don't get selected next that year, next year it will be far easier for you to get into, and I'm sure pretty much that experience will help you throughout the year. You can apply to companies, all this stuff. So that's one advice I'll give. Next question, I guess many people have said same question thing, like, asked by years. Since I'm new to coding and only know basics of C language, so how should I prepare for GSoC 2024? Is it possible to clear it in 2024?
Yes, are you in first year? Yes, are you in first year? Yeah. So yeah, any new guys just know last year so I did my GSoC in like PostgreSQL and it was like pure C, right? And it is not much different from what you're taught in college in a first year. It is different, but not that much. And the thing is, so last year around this time, I was almost as good with C as you are probably right now. Uh, of course, I had the developer mindset that I had developed for like 3 years before that. I do not deny that, but the thing is, in terms of skill with the language and like I would say you do have quite a lot of time to get started with it. Also, in terms of your mindset and the problem solving skills, that is something that you develop as you go along. And I would say GSoC is a very good experience to develop that. Even if you do not get selected in GSoC, the preparation for that is itself very informative and very eye opening. So, like, if you get selected, that's really good. But even if you do not, there is no harm in trying. I would say there is like, I can only see positives of applying. Like, even if you do not get selected. So, yeah, try to apply and try to do whatever the process wants you to do.
I'll add some more points. Again, new to coding and new basic of that's how
Oh,
all of
also,
us have.
I have a Akash. I think you are speaking. I cannot hear.
Yeah, I have made
Yeah,
all the points.
your voice is coming in a bit of delay. So sorry for cutting you off. Uh, yeah, yeah. I just want to add something. I have this junior of mine who got selected for Git in his first year. So yeah, it's not like first years cannot have a chance in GSoC or something like that. Take that as an inspiration.
Yeah, definitely. I'll complete the question, the answer. So again, preparing for GSoC. Again, I don't like about the preparing for GSoC or clearing for GSoC. It's more of a approaching or applying for GSoC. It's not a J again J means or you have to prepare and you have to clear it. It's more of a company where you learn. Answering your question, it is more again basic requirements. You will know C language, which I guess was taught in your colleague training. Learn Java, or let's say even with C++, learn a particular tech stack. Like famous one being again web development, Android development. AI is in boom right now, blockchain, anything like that. learn one tech stack, like that is bare minimum. Just 2 months time you have learn that. You can again approach your seniors, so like probably your seniors in college for how to learn resources and all those you will find on YouTube. And the basics of Git and GitHub, like how to use Git terminal, GitHub, what are branches, what are pull requests, all that. So and this easily you can cover within like 1 day or 2 day, I would say. Actually, learning one tech stack, my bare minimum one tech stack is requirement. I will say for GSoC. You know something, you develop some project on one stack. From there, you can learn more and develop that. So that's the requirement. And just me, all of us have been in same situation. I'm new to coding. I just know one language. How can I contribute to project which are in multi-disciplinary tech stack? It's not. Most of the time, people who work have to are divided in such a way where you work on a particular tech stack only. For example, let's say even though my organization was focusing on entire closed caption area, my job, at least my project, was just focus on Flutter and Firebase. Android development, I know Flutter. Firebase was something which I learned even during and before the GSoC period. So that's how all the pictures are there. I guess it answer the third question, next question as well. It is necessary to be focused on a particular tech line. You don't have to be particularly in one tech. I mean, you have to be represent in one tech. That's where you can contribute. If you're in more, you can again contribute to multiple. Your options get enlarged. That's how I'll put it.
All right, thank you, Akash and Saurav, for addressing the questions. I think most of the questions for attendees have been addressed, and some are left. So these are our handles where you can follow us and reach out to us and connect with us and look out whatever stuff we are doing. We put out and those handles, and you can look at it and learn from it. So and I will hand over now to Shashank.
That was a great session indeed. Thank you, Akash and Saurav. I'm
Shashank?
pretty much sure. Uh, Hello.
हाँ हाँ शशांक continue. Shashank, are you there? I guess he is facing some issues from his side. So, thank you everyone. Thank you speakers for enlightening us with your open source journey and GSoC, Hacktoberfest, and everything. And thank you. I would also like to thank you both the GDSC part of everything and for and the TeCOS as well for this wonderful collaboration. And thank you for attendees as well for joining. That's it for now. Thank you.